$500 million in NBA salary alone, a venture capital portfolio that reads like a Silicon Valley insider's wish list, and a lifetime Nike deal that puts him in a group of three. Kevin Durant has earned more money from playing basketball than any human in history, and he might be building a fortune that dwarfs even that number. So let's trace exactly how a kid from Suitland, Maryland, went from sleeping on a mattress on the floor to sitting on a financial empire worth as much as $400 million, and possibly climbing toward $1 billion. In October 2025, Kevin Durant put pen to paper on a 2-year, $90 million contract extension with the Houston Rockets. That signature did something no NBA contract had ever done before. It pushed Durant's career earnings to $598.2 million based on current and future salaries, surpassing LeBron James at $583.9 million. Just like that, Kevin Wayne Durant became the highest-paid player in NBA history by cumulative salary, but that record did not happen overnight. It was the product of 18 years of calculated contract decisions that began in a city that no longer has an NBA team. Durant was selected second overall in the 2007 NBA draft, behind center Greg Oden by the Seattle Supersonics. His rookie deal was worth $19.5 million over 4 years. Significant money for a teenager from Prince George's County, but nothing that would turn heads in a league already paying players 9 figures. He averaged 20.3 points, 4.4 rebounds, and 2.4 assists in 80 games as a rookie, en route to the NBA Rookie of the Year award. In 2008, the Sonics relocated and became the Oklahoma City Thunder. It was there that he linked up with future superstars Russell Westbrook and James Harden, in forming a young, exciting perennial contender. Before the 2010-11 season, Durant signed a 5-year contract extension with the Thunder, estimated to be worth $86 million. That deal would carry him through some of the most dominant individual seasons the league had ever seen. In 2013-14, Durant broke Michael Jordan's record of consecutive games with 25 points or more. With 41 straight, he was voted the NBA Most Valuable Player that year, with averages of 32 points, 7.4 rebounds, and 5.5 assists per game. The MVP trophy did not just validate his talent. It placed a target on his back. Every franchise in the league wanted the 7-footer, who could score from anywhere, and that demand translated directly into dollars. Through the 2015 season, Durant had earned over $88 million in salary alone, and then came the decision that fractured the NBA's competitive landscape and critically reshaped Durant's earning trajectory for the next decade. In 2016, Durant shocked the sports world by signing with the Golden State Warriors, who were coming off a season in which they broke the NBA record for wins in a season with a 73-9 record. His initial 2-year deal was worth $54.3 million. He would re-sign twice more in Golden State, once for $51.25 million and again for $61.5 million. The financial picture in Oakland was not about maximizing salary. It was about winning championships. And it worked. His career took a defining turn when he joined the Golden State Warriors, where he became the final piece of a dominant dynasty. During that run, Durant won 2 NBA championships and 2 Finals MVP awards. Then, in 2019, with 2 rings secured, Durant made another seismic shift. Durant signed a 4-year deal worth nearly $195 million with the Brooklyn Nets, knowing he was going to miss the first season after tearing his Achilles in the finals against Toronto, a franchise paying $195 million for a player who would not touch the court for a full calendar year. That's the kind of leverage only a handful of athletes on the planet have ever wielded. Durant came back strong, averaging 26.9, 29.9, and 29.7 points per game in parts of 3 seasons. But the Brooklyn experiment crumbled. The Nets won just 1 playoff series with Durant, and he asked to be dealt to the Phoenix Suns in February 2023. Although the Suns didn't win a playoff series with Durant in the fold, he averaged 27.1 and 26.6 points per game in 2 All-Star seasons with Phoenix. He was traded to the Houston Rockets before the 2025-26 season. to lead a young, up-and-coming roster. For the 2025-26 season, he is earning a base salary of $53,282,608 with a salary cap hit of roughly $54.7 million. And then came that record-setting extension. In October 2025, he signed a 2-year, $90 million extension with Houston. That includes a $46.1 million player option for the 2027-28 season. Notably, Durant left an estimated $30 million on the table by declining the full $120 million maximum extension. He was eligible for a move that gave the Rockets additional cap flexibility to build around him. That final detail is revealing. A man turning down $30 million is a man who knows his money is working harder elsewhere. And that's where the story gets far more interesting than basketball contracts. If the NBA paycheck represents one pillar of Durant's fortune, Nike represents the other, and it might be the pillar that stands longer. He signed an endorsement deal with Nike as an NBA rookie in 2007. From the moment the Seattle Supersonics called his name on draft night, the swoosh was already attached to it. The 13-time All-Star has a relationship with Nike that dates back to 2007, releasing 15 different sets of shoes. That means for every single year of Durant's professional career, a new signature shoe has hit the shelves, each one carrying his name, his story, and his likeness to sneaker stores across the globe. But there was a moment where the entire relationship almost ended. There was a brief moment in 2014 when Durant could have parted ways with Nike after his contract with the brand expired that summer. Under Armour was circling aggressively, reportedly willing to pay a premium to poach him. Nike matched, and then it went further than matching, far further. In April 2023, Durant and Nike did something that erased any remaining questions about the depth of their relationship. Kevin Durant and Nike agreed to a lifetime contract, making him just the third NBA player to receive such a deal, joining Michael Jordan and LeBron James. Read that list again: Michael Jordan, the man whose name is synonymous with athletic branding; LeBron James, the player many call the greatest of all time; and Kevin Durant. 3 names, that's it. In the entire history of the National Basketball Association and the world's largest sportswear company, only 3 players have ever been deemed worthy of a lifetime partnership. Financial terms of the deal were not disclosed. Nike doesn't reveal the exact figures on lifetime agreements. But prior to the deal, for many years, Kevin earned $26 million per year from Nike. When combined with his $42 million NBA salary, his annual income from these 2 sources alone topped $68 million. There is no reason to believe a lifetime deal reduced that number. If anything, it likely locked in escalators and bonuses tied to shoe sales, marketing milestones, and brand performance that will continue long after Durant plays his final game. The lifetime partnership will continue to include footwear, apparel, and a community and philanthropic collaboration focused on grassroots basketball. That last part matters. It means Durant and Nike aren't just bound by commerce. They're bound by programming, community courts, and youth development initiatives that extend Nike's brand into neighborhoods while extending Durant's legacy into communities that look like the one he came from. Durant understood this clearly. When I first signed with Nike, I couldn't have dreamed of how far we'd go in this partnership, he said. We've traveled the world together and built a business that will now last forever. Nike is not Durant's only endorsement partner. His portfolio of endorsements includes Nike, NBA 2K, Prime Hydration, FanDuel, and more. Additional deals with Gatorade, Fanatics, 2K Sports, and Degree round out a roster that generates an astonishing amount of off-court revenue. Although KD's year-by-year off-the-court income varies significantly, his brand and image likely keep his annual average at $50 million, according to Forbes. Let that figure sink in for a moment. $50 million a year, every year, from simply lending his name and likeness to products. That's more than most NBA players make on the court. And when you stack that on top of his $53 million salary, you arrive at a staggering number. With KD's salary this season set at $53.2 million, That puts Durant's total earnings in 2025-26 at over $100 million. He ranked number 9 in Sportico's 100 highest-paid athletes, at $108 million in salary and endorsements last year, $100 million in a single 12-month cycle. That is the earning power of Kevin Durant in real time. Here's where Kevin Durant's financial story stops resembling a typical athlete biography and starts reading like a venture capital case study. Up until he joined the Warriors, Kevin Durant had tunnel vision for the game of basketball. He showed no interest in anything but dominating NBA arenas. But playing for the Dubs, KD has started to look at the bigger picture as he took advantage of his proximity to Silicon Valley. The move to Golden State wasn't just about rings. It placed Durant in the geographic epicenter of American technology and startup culture. And he didn't waste the opportunity. Through 35 Ventures, 35 Vote, the investment firm he co-founded in 2016 with his longtime business partner Rich Kleiman, Durant has built one of the most ruthless and precise celebrity portfolios in modern venture capital. The firm is named after the jersey number Durant wore for most of his career, number 35, a tribute to Charles Craig, a mentor of his who was murdered at age 35. That inspired Durant to begin wearing jersey number 35. 35 Volt's investment portfolio spans more than 100 companies across a variety of verticals and growth markets, including fintech, artificial intelligence, health and wellness, media, and more. 100 companies, not 5, not 20, over 100 separate bets on the future of American business and technology, deployed from a firm co-run by an active NBA player. And these were not vanity investments, the kind where a celebrity drops money into a company for a press release and a photo op. Kevin Durant investments aren't celebrity photo ops. They're the output of a serious, thesis-driven operation. Consider the receipts. They were early investors in Postmates, acquired by Uber for $2.65 billion, Acorns, Robinhood, and Dutchie. Durant even secured an early stake in Coinbase back in 2014, long before crypto was a mainstream dinner table conversation. The Postmates play alone was a masterclass. Uber ended up acquiring Postmates for $2.6 billion, earning Durant a $15 million payday. But the Coinbase investment is the one that became legend in investor circles. While playing with the Golden State Warriors, Durant developed a greater interest in Silicon Valley, following his desire to grow an investment portfolio in 2016. 1 year later, Durant participated in Coinbase's Series D funding round, which totaled $100 million at a $1.6 billion valuation. Durant invested in Coinbase alongside Nas, Ben Horowitz, and Union Square Ventures. When Coinbase went public in April 2021 at an $86 billion valuation, it was one of the biggest athlete investor paydays in recent memory. Kevin Durant invested in the company back in 2017 when it was valued at $1.6 billion. But after Coinbase's increased valuation, his investment is worth 53 times as much as it was 5 years ago. A 53x return on a single investment, while simultaneously being one of the 5 best basketball players on the planet. And then there's Robinhood. KD invested in Robinhood at a $1.2 billion valuation in 2017. Robinhood made its debut on the stock market at a $32 billion valuation. If he sold at IPO, it was a 2,500% return. What made all of this possible was not just Durant's money. It was the infrastructure around him. Durant is the company's president, but the brain behind their investment decisions is and always has been Rich Kleiman. Durant has been candid about this dynamic. "I know I'm just a basketball player, so I was smart enough to hire people who are really good in that field," he has said. That self-awareness, the willingness to recognize what he doesn't know, and to delegate to someone who does, is the engine that has driven 35 Volts from a small side project into an institutional-scale operation. If Coinbase and Postmates were the appetizers, Whoop is the main course. Kevin Durant invested in Whoop back in 2017, when the company's valuation was just $125 million. The current valuation has increased by 81 times compared to nearly 10 years ago. In March 2026, the financial world received a jolt when Whoop announced the closing of a $575 million Series G funding round. The raise catapulted the company's valuation to a staggering $10.1 billion. To understand why this matters so enormously for Durant, you have to understand the timeline. At the time, the wearable market was dominated by Apple Watches and Fitbits, with glowing screens and constant notifications. Whoop, founded by Will Ahmed, was a contrarian product. It had no screen, it didn't buzz when you got a text, and it was primarily used by Navy SEALs and elite athletes to intensely monitor sleep, stress, and cardiovascular strain around the clock. It was during this era that 35-volt made its move. In 2020, Durant increased his investment during the Series E funding round when the company was valued at $1.2 billion. He didn't just bet once and walk away, he doubled down. Durant has not sold any of his Whoop shares, according to someone familiar with KD's investments. Not a single share. He sat on the position for nearly a decade and watched it grow from $125 million to $10.1 billion. The math on this particular windfall is breathtaking. If 35-volt realizes $110 million to $125 million in profit from Whoop, and we conservatively carve out 20% to 25% for Kleiman's carry, firm overhead, and potential minor co-investors, Kevin Durant's personal net worth increase from this one single company sits confidently around $85 million to $100 million. That's from one investment. To put that paper gain into perspective, it is roughly equal to an entire late-career max NBA contract, achieved by signing a few pieces of paper and believing in a biometric strap. But the investment side is only one slice of a much larger sports ownership pie that Durant has been quietly assembling across multiple leagues and multiple countries. Durant is a part owner of Major League Soccer's Philadelphia Union. He purchased a 5% stake in 2020 with the option to purchase an additional 5% in the future. He expanded into women's soccer as well. Durant is a co-owner of NWSL side NJ Gotham FC. They were league champions in 2023 thanks to an exciting 2-1 championship victory over OL Reign. Then came pickleball. As of 2022, Durant and his business partner joined the MLP as owners of an expansion pickleball team. It's not known how much Durant and his team have invested in the franchise. Durant's team is the Brooklyn Aces, and then came the crown jewel of the sports portfolio, Paris Saint-Germain. Durant is not the new big-shot owner of Paris Saint-Germain. Despite the hype, he's just another minority investor in a club still firmly controlled by Qatar Sports Investments. Reports say his stake is in the single-digit millions, which for a club valued at $4.6 billion is a relatively small piece. But the symbolism is significant. An active NBA player with a direct financial stake in one of European soccer's most iconic clubs, a franchise that recently won the Champions League, positions Durant at the intersection of global sport and global capital in a way very few athletes have ever managed. Most recently, 35 Volts has focused on investments in sports leagues and teams with strong growth opportunity. This isn't diversification for the sake of diversification, it's a deliberate thesis. Durant and Kleiman believe that emerging sports properties, women's soccer, pickleball, esports leagues, represent undervalued assets that will appreciate dramatically as media rights, fan engagement, and cultural relevance catch up to the traditional Big Four American sports. It's the same contrarian instinct that led them to Whoop when nobody was wearing a screenless fitness strap. So how rich is Kevin Durant actually? Let's run the ledger. Durant has officially surpassed LeBron James as the highest-paid player in NBA history by cumulative salary. His total career earnings are projected at approximately $598.2 million through 2028. That's on-court money alone. Add Nike at $26 million per year for well over a decade, now locked in for life. Add Gatorade, 2K, Fanatics, FanDuel, and others that push his endorsement income to roughly $50 million per year. Add the realized gains from Coinbase, Postmates, Robinhood. Add the paper gains from Whoop, potentially $85 to $100 million from that single holding. Add his media company Boardroom. Add his stakes in the Philadelphia Union, Gotham FC, the Brooklyn Aces, PSG. Add real estate. Besides his real estate businesses in California, Durant has houses in Oklahoma City, where he began his professional basketball career with the Thunder. Today, we conservatively estimate Kevin Durant's net worth at $400 million. When more info about his various other VC bets comes to light, that net worth may soon prove to be extremely conservative. And that word, conservatively, is doing enormous work in that sentence. Because the nature of venture capital is that the true value of a portfolio only becomes clear when companies go public or get acquired. Durant has over 100 companies in his portfolio. The blockbuster exits like Coinbase and Postmates are the ones we know about. But there are dozens of other early-stage bets sitting in that portfolio, quietly compounding, waiting for their moment. He very easily could be on pace to become a billionaire. Kevin Durant hasn't just secured generational wealth. Through clinical aggressive venture capital deployment, he has officially placed himself on the doorstep of billionaire status. What makes this story different from the usual athlete gets rich narrative is the architecture behind it. Durant didn't stumble into wealth through a single lucky endorsement deal or a real estate flip. He built infrastructure. 35 Volt is the family office of 2x NBA champion Kevin Durant, home to investments in over 100 startups, KD's personal brand and business deals, and the Durant Family Foundation. 35 Volt is also sister company to Boardroom, a multifaceted sports, media, and entertainment company. Boardroom isn't just a media brand, it's a distribution vehicle. Recent film and TV projects under the Boardroom umbrella include the Academy Award-winning Two Distant Strangers, Netflix, the critically acclaimed scripted series Swagger, Apple TV, and Emmy-nominated documentary NYC Point Gods, Showtime, an Academy Award, an Apple TV Plus series, an Emmy nomination. These are not side projects, they are cultural properties generating revenue and expanding the Boardroom brand into entertainment, which feeds back into the overall 35 Volt ecosystem. And at the center of all of it stands the Durant Family Foundation, which reminds us where this story started. In 2019, DFF opened the Durant Center, a 10-year, $10 million investment in partnership with College Track, which provides out-of-school time programming for local youth of Prince George's County and has served over 230 students to date. DFF started the Build It and They Will Ball initiative, which aims to build high-quality basketball courts in low-income neighborhoods. Since 2015, it has constructed 32 courts around the world, from Brooklyn to Guangzhou, China. Kevin Durant was born on September 29, 1988, in Washington, D.C. His parents divorced when he was an infant, and his father was out of his life until age 13. He grew up in a modest household raised by his mother, Wanda Durant, in a neighborhood where financial security was not guaranteed. And now, at 37, he is the highest-paid player in NBA history, a lifetime Nike athlete, an investor in over 100 companies, a sports team owner across 4 different leagues and 2 continents, a media mogul with an Oscar under his company's belt, and a philanthropist pouring millions back into the communities that made him. He just happens to play basketball for the Houston Rockets in his spare time. The answer to how rich Kevin Durant actually is? The honest answer is that nobody, perhaps not even Durant himself, knows the full number yet. What we do know is that $400 million is the floor, not the ceiling, and the ceiling is getting higher every quarter. Every funding round, every new 35 Volts term sheet, the Slim Reaper came for the scoring record, the MVP trophy, and the championship rings. And then, without most people noticing, he came for the bag too. All of it, and he hasn't stopped.